It's not race day in Indianapolis yet. We're real close. That's tomorrow. So tonight is racing night in Indy, which is the Indy 11's celebration of soccer and speed. Commemorative pre-match jerseys for a month that Indy 11 fans want to remember. Indy has not lost in any competition this month. Their final hurdle for an unbeaten May, the defending league champs in Phoenix Rising. Thanks for joining us on My Indy TV and the CBS Sports Golazo Network alongside Brad Hodder. My name is Greg Rakestraw. Thank you so much for joining us. And yes, Brad, you and I have been around since day one of the Indy 11 in 2014. And simply put, this might be the best run of form we have ever seen from this team.
I agree. And you referenced it just moments ago. It's May in Indianapolis. Great things happen in May, and great things are happening with this club right now.
The Indy 11 have been racing out to lead. Sorry, folks, I'm a pro broadcaster. I got to say it that way. They scored 3 in the opening 35 minutes in their third Open Cup win of the spring, in Detroit 3-0 here just 3 nights ago.
Yeah, and the great thing about it and what makes it difficult for opponents is the goals are coming from multiple spots on the field, so you can't key in just one area.
The first one came from Detroit City, but the two that would follow even would come from Ben Ofemu, who now has goals in back-to-back matches, and he's a center back for this team.
Yeah, he's a center back, but I tell you what, he has been getting forward well through the run of play and then certainly on restarts.
Frankly, Open Cup has never been the key to success for the Indy 11 in years gone by. Maybe it is this time around. They're in the quarterfinals. They'll play Atlanta United coming up in July. But the first match against Chicago Fire, too, that's what sort of the run you have seen on the right of your screen.
Yeah, and you take a look statistically, you know, obviously the record is the big thing that you key on, but the biggest aspect after that is goals against.
Well, the champs are here in Phoenix Rising, and frankly, last year's team had a little bit more of a tie to Indianapolis than the one that you'll see tonight. Juan Guerra, no longer the head coach. Manuel Arteaga now plays Tampa Bay Rowdies, but there's still some really quality players. Remy Cabral's got 6 goals in the season, and Rocco Rios Novo, we've seen it with Atlanta United too. He is one of the best shot stoppers in the league.
Similar to Indy, you know, a few new faces on the field, a new coach, and it takes a little while to get going. They are unbeaten in their last 4, so they're finding their form as well.
These teams have both been around for 11 years. This is Phoenix's first visit to the mic. And on this race weekend, the Indy 11 hope to be less than hospitable hosts. East meets West, and Indy's been at their best. Come back and join us for the opening kickoff after this.
AES Indiana is dedicated to providing you with smart energy solutions that power our lives. Our energy efficiency programs help you save energy and money. From rebates on lighting and smart thermostats to appliance pickup and recycling, you can take advantage of cleaner, more cost-effective energy solutions right here, right now. IPL is now AES Indiana. We are accelerating the future of energy together.
At Indiana Members Credit Union, we're invested in more than just your finances. We're invested in your future, the future of your family, the well-being of the community you live in, and in those who dream big. Until those dreams become a reality, any bank can give you a loan or open an account. At IMCU, we care about more than just dollars and cents. We care about doing things that make sense. And investing in you makes good sense to us.
2024 season tickets are on sale now. Go to indy11.com/tickets today.
Find it, try it, paint it, love it. 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 Find it, try it, paint it, love it, love it, love it, love it.
Tonight's match is presented by Community Health Sports Medicine. Exceptional care simply delivered. And by your Central Indiana Ford dealers. Your Central Indiana Ford dealers are a proud sponsor of Indy 11 Soccer. Visit your local Ford dealer today for great deals on your favorite Ford vehicle. And those same Central Indiana Ford dealers present our starting lineups for the Indy 11. It's Blake, it's Williams. They both have 5 goals apiece. Douglas Martinez with 3 as well. What you'll notice, not much in the way of squad rotation from Wednesday night. They're going for it this evening. Only change in the lineup. Ben Mines goes back to the bench. Yunus Budati goes to the front. In terms of a familiar name that Indy 11 fans might remember, Lawrence Wyke, really good for Tampa Bay for a couple of years. Last year, sometime with it on loan, but played in Major League Soccer. One of the 3 defenders at the back for Coach Stone's Phoenix Rising FC. Well, on this Memorial Day weekend, we appreciate you joining us. Whether you're watching us here in Indianapolis on My Indy TV or on the CBS Sports Golazo Network. Indy on the road next week at Pittsburgh. Again, trying to wrap up an unbeaten month of May. Jack Blake awaiting the instruction to go. He's been given the thumbs up. Simply waiting on our official's whistle to get this started tonight. Thanks for joining us for Indy 11 Soccer on this Saturday night. Yunus Budati. And Indy has started to play with more of that's a whistle against Indy. Indy began the season playing 4 at the back. Now it has become 3. And for Budati, that means a nudge forward into more of a midfielder's role. What does that mean for Yunus? What does that mean for Aiden Stanley on the other side? Well,
more opportunities to get forward because you're starting about 15, 20 yards further up the field. You still have the defensive responsibilities to jam up the wings. But the part about it, too, is you don't have to cover quite as much ground. Your legs can be a little bit fresher later in the match.
Budati has missed some time with injury. Last year he played in every match but 3. He's already missed 4 this season, but again, having him back in the lineup on a more regular basis gives Indy, again, frankly, the opposite of what Stanley can do on that left side because so much has been funneled through Stanley all season long. Let's give your injury report. Is brought to us by Community Health Network Sports Medicine, official sports medicine provider of the Indy 11. Callum Chapman Page, Maka King, Diego Sanchez, and Aiden Quinn all out tonight due to injury. Jack Blake, and he carried so much of the heavy load early. Flag went up as Budati was in an offside position.
And a great thought by Martinez just to punch it out into space and see if he could connect with Budati.
Phoenix Rising, as we mentioned, making their first visit to Indy. This is the second year that everybody has played everybody in the USL Championship. Only 1 team of the current Western Conference squads have yet to play a match in Indy. Brad, can you think you can name that team?
No.
Trivia in the opening 2 minutes.
Nope.
El Paso Locomotive is the only team now, not counting Rhode Island as an expansion team who will be here later this year. Indy has played there twice. El Paso will come to Indy for the first time in the month of September.
Had I guessed, it probably would have been El Paso.
I'm sure it would have. And speaking of El Paso, how about that win last night in Charleston?
Oh, my goodness, who would have thought?
Wilmer Cabrera in his first match as the head coach. Of course, longtime coach at RGV. His son played here collegiately at Butler University. Charleston's first loss of the season. And, of course, that's going to be a theme for Charleston in that match. Frankly, both of these teams on level footing here is the lag of the Open Cup. Now, Charleston played at home like Indy did, and they played Tuesday. They had a 3-day turn. But Charleston lost in kicks to Atlanta United. And, frankly, Indy was able to coast a little bit at the end of their match against Detroit City with a 3-0 win. But to be blunt, as Williams is onside, he's got an opportunity here as that ball is tackled away. Phoenix Rising has it tough. They had to play at the Seattle Sounders on Wednesday and then come here to play tonight. How does that play out in tonight's match?
Well, we'll see. You know, you got to adjust a little bit with as many miles as you've gotten, as many games as you've had in this last week. We'll see what kind of tactical adjustments they do from the normal way that they play.
Well, since we're talking about Phoenix Rising, let's start with their keys to the match. Brought to us by your Central Indiana Ford dealers, proud sponsor of the Indy 11. And folks, you'll quickly notice a theme on this race weekend. Mr. Hodder, the floor is yours.
Yeah, for Phoenix, they've got to reduce the spaces that Indy can play in and just try to neutralize their speed. And then the other part is to find the groove. You referenced it a couple times already. Phoenix has navigated a brutally tough May. 4 of their last 5 matches has been on the road, and 3 of those are in the Eastern time zone. And then they lose this heartbreaker in the final minutes in the Open Cup to Seattle. And so right now they need to play efficiently. They got to find a way to manage their minutes and make sure that they can get through these 90 minutes without having all those miles over this past month wear on them.
Budati flying down the flank, ball played sideways, throw in coming for the Indy 11. So since we have the time, now let's focus on the home team.
Yeah, turbocharged wings. Stanley and Budati have been playing like they're from a different planet lately. Get them the ball often, get them the ball early, and let them run. And then the run of form for Indy has been phenomenal lately. A win tonight, a victory tonight, and they qualify for the front row, and they put themselves on the podium in the Eastern Conference.
So apparently Indy 11 becomes a member of Team Penske if they qualify in the front row, since it's an all Penske front row for the first time in 36 years. And if you wonder if we might lose our Phoenix audience making so many IndyCar references, got to remember Phoenix Raceway's hosted IndyCar racing for a long time. They can speak open wheel racing in the Valley of the Sun as well. Everything has a racing theme to it on this night. Guenzati, right idea. Couldn't find Stanley. Stanley, the playmaker with 6 assists that leads the USL Championship. He was the player of the week in the championship last week. He has been on the team of the week for 3 successive weeks.
Just been phenomenal. And I tell you, that was a great ball in from Dispay. Jack Blake does a great job to dummy it to Guenzati. Guenzati tries to slip Stanley through. I think I would have loved to see him pull the trigger from there.
Got a couple of players that we're seeing play in different roles for this Indy 11 team this year. Cam Lindley and Sebastian Guenzati come to mind. I'll let you kind of tackle which one you want to talk about first, Brad.
Well, Guenzati, last year when you take a look at it, he was having to drop all the way in the early part of the season when they were struggling, drop all the way back into the midfield to try and pick up the ball and make something happen up front. Later on in the year, they started finding him in the box, and he became the Guenzati we all know, scoring like crazy. This year, he's been asked to do a little bit different. You got the 2 burners in Williams and Martinez up front. He's sitting behind them and looking to play make a little bit more than finish.
You think he's playing a more conservative game because he changed his hair from last year, Brad? Do you think that's part of it?
I think that probably factored in. I think that is a big factor in there.
And by probably, he means probably not at all. And Brad's like, I didn't have to put up with this last week when he wasn't here. Thank you, Joey Lindstrom, for filling in for me a week ago. Congratulations, the happy couple. I was at a wedding last week, so thank you, Joey, for filling in so I could, have something of a social life, which I really haven't had for 20 years.
Were you at the wedding as a guest, or were you calling it?
I was not doing play-by-play, but I did have a speech. Let's put it that way.
Do you have it? Little bits and pieces you could share with us?
Good luck to the happy couple. Back to the soccer match. Here we go.
Beautiful.
Fuenmayor. Again, some squad rotation, understandably so for Phoenix tonight.
And this is where, you got to see Phoenix, even though they've got pace and they've got some quickness, they really have to be patient. They can't get into a back-and-forth running game, having just been in Seattle. And you referenced the fact that against Detroit, Indy had scored early and scored often and didn't have to battle as hard that last 45 minutes like Phoenix did against Seattle.
And it wasn't like Phoenix parked the bus. They had 57% of possession in that match. They led in that match as well. This portion of this match is brought to us by the Keystone Group, specializing in transformational developments, construction, management, and investments. Another change, at least for this week, is that Hunter Salt will get all 3 matches. In the previous weeks, one keeper's gotten 2, the other one's gotten 1. Sean McCauley makes the move to keep it in the capable hands and feet of Hunter Salt, who has been absolutely tremendous. He is on loan from the Portland Timbers, and this kid is getting absolutely the experience he needs. At 6'7", the Alaskan has been a find for the Indy 11.
Well, the difference in playing 3 in a week and being a field player versus being a goalkeeper is vastly different. As a goalkeeper, you want those minutes because it's so much about repetition, game reps, just to stay into the flow. You're a field player and you got 270 minutes on your legs in a week, and they've been competitive minutes. That's a whole lot tougher to bounce back.
Salt has had clean sheets in his 2 Open Cup matches. He's had 1 clean sheet. That was at Monterey Bay. That was the win that, again, kind of got the ball rolling in the month of May for the Indy 11. At that time, it was their second consecutive league victory, as Indy has now beaten North Carolina, Monterey Bay, Miami FC, and Hartford. Not to be blunt, Phoenix is better than most of that four we have talked about. They and Monterey Bay probably on level footing in terms of the Western Conference. Williams took an inadvertent kind of jab to the eye. We play on. East Pay charging forward here to provide some pressure. Now he'll drop back to more of his defensive position, and Phoenix will reorganize simultaneously.
And this is going to be critical for Phoenix. The more that they can hold the ball, the more that they can control the pace, the more that they can navigate the energy and the fuel that they have to spill.
You and I both think we might see a bit of a different Phoenix team and methodology of playing in the final 30 minutes of this match.
100%. I think if they can get it to a place that's got points on the line, that last 30 minutes, they're going to bring a couple fresh legs off the bench, and they're going to make a go of it.
Giveaway here. Williams now, does he have help? He does. Martinez right, Blake left.
Oh.
Right idea, just the wrong touch, and Martinez immediately puts his hand up and says, my apologies.
Yeah, and it was, you got the pace of Dougie Martinez on your right shoulder. Augie needed just to punch it into the corner and let him run.
We've talked about how Indy 11, the players that are back from last season playing for Mark Lowry, how some guys play a different role. Douglas Martinez played so many roles last year. He did something this year that would be similar to what he did a year ago. Where is he at his best for this team under Sean McCall?
Well, you looked as you started talking about last season. He played pretty much out as wide as possible on the right side, and you had Lindley and Quinn and Blake just trying to bang it into space for him to run onto. Now there's a little bit more systemic elements in trying to build it to him, and you're looking at those wide spaces filled by Budati and Stanley, so he can stay central a little bit more, where he's going to be more dangerous as a finisher.
O'Brien will knock this back to midfield, was trying to find Augie Williams. Lawrence Wyke will play that ball to safety. This match is brought to us by Community Health Sports Medicine, the official sports medicine provider of the Indy 11. Exceptional care simply delivered. We've talked about how some of the ties that bind Phoenix to Indy are gone from a Phoenix perspective. You would say the same thing going back the other direction. Phoenix fans last couple of years have seen players like Aiden Quinn and Solomon Asante playing for the Indy 11. Solo last year had 9 assists amongst all competitions for the Indy 11. Aiden Quinn had double-digit goals. Unfortunately, Aiden suffered a knee injury in September, and we're hoping to see him back at some juncture. Say probably mid to late summer. Foul called against Martinez.
Now you'll see if the stats were to pop up right now, and you're going to look at these first half stats, and the possession is likely going to lean significantly towards Phoenix. It's not a tactical, strategic possession. It's more of a how do we navigate our energy possession. Taking very safe passes, knocking it back, knocking it across the back line, just looking to keep the ball and make Indy defend rather than get into a back and forth match.
And obviously give him a set piece here. It's not super close, but this is a potential game changer. You can try to steal a goal here. Again, it plays into that theory of energy conservation mode for the visitors. Zambrano steers it in, looking back post, and overcooks it. This match is brought to us by Sports Tech HQ, Indiana. Winning is in our DNA. For more information, visit forthebold.com.
And while you hate to see as a coach a opportunity for a dangerous restart to go awry, you'd much rather have that ball overhit where you can get your defensive shape casually as opposed to being underhit. They're out on the break, and now you're in a full sprint 80 yards to try and get your shape back.
And you thought that ball may have crossed the touchline. Our assistant referee said it did not. Colin Radisoff, by the way, is our match referee tonight. ARs are Eric Burton and Stephen Malone. Opportunity here. Settled up top. Quickly bracket coverage applied by the Indy 11. Adrian Dees-Pay will sweep it back. Ryan Flood was the solo target up top. The touch that goes awry from Juan Carlos Azocar. And now, here's the speed of Yunus Budati. As if he were flying down the front straightaway at IMS. Ran into traffic at the edge of the 18, however. There's been years when Budotti might have qualified like outside row 10.
It was ridiculously fit. On the wings, he and Stanley just genetically different. Can run all day.
And Stanley has been an Iron Man for the Indy 11. He is the lone player through now 12 matches that has played in every minute of every match so far. And again, the mileage he tends to put in, significant every time out.
And 6 assists coming down from the left flank with Stanley. But you've got 2 assists from Budotti, as well as drawing 2 PKs by attacking that front post. And he's missed a couple matches. I think statistically these guys would be fairly close if they were both full go the entire season.
Phoenix is doing some really good stuff in the midfield. They're just not getting that really aggressive touch on the back end. Erickson Gallardo, player that was attempting to get to it last for Phoenix Rising.
Here's one of the ridiculous stats. So you look at the possession right now. While the possession is perhaps to take some of the energy out of this game, this is a team that possesses the ball at an 84% rate. That is a ridiculous passing completion rate.
Just a reminder, fans, you can learn more about the Indy 11, both men and women, each week on Soccer Saturday on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. This week we were joined by head coach Sean McCauley, Ian Gilmore from the Indy 11 video department, and Mike Conti, who is the radio voice of Atlanta United, whom Indy will play in the Open Cup in early July. Go back and listen to the show in podcast form anytime, 1075thefan.com. Foul called against Eastpay. Brad and I are planning our road trip to Kennesaw State University as we speak. Indy has played there numerous times before because when Atlanta United 2 was in the USL Championship, that became their home turf. The home of the Owls and FCS football. Now the home of Indy's first ever matchup in the Open Cup quarterfinals. Indy looking for that first win against an MLS side. They are 0-3 over the years, having lost the Columbus Crew both last year and in 2014, and the Chicago Fire in 2016. Azokar.
Indy doing a terrific job. Look at how many players are back behind the ball.
Trying to cross him up. Good toe poke away by Budotti. And now Guenzatti digs in, but he and Martinez on the same page. Good check back by Budotti. And that'll be last touched by Phoenix. Azokar, one of the many players that have Oakland roots ties again. To explain kind of the family tree here, Juan Guerra played for the Indy 11 in 2018, then spent 2 years coaching for the Indy 11, then went to Phoenix as an assistant coach, then got the head coaching job in Oakland. Then in the middle of a season, left to go to Phoenix. And so he brought a lot of guys in 22 to Oakland. And over the last year or two, a lot of those guys in Oakland made their way to Phoenix. And then Juan, after winning the championship last year, couldn't turn down the chance to be an assistant coach in Major League Soccer. So again, it's a long and winding road.
That's a 23andMe just to figure out how they're all connected.
It's not exactly a Jerry Springer level of drama, but there is a tie, so to speak. You notice a lot of players with Oakland roots experience or Venezuelan ties or both, and Juan Guerra is the connective tissue of that.
What a meteoric rise from the time he was here as a midfielder. And you could see the high tactical IQ to be an assistant coach, to head coach, to winning the championship.
And let's face it, you know, to be a successful head coach, you got to be able to, communicate well and kind of, win the media battle sometimes too. That comes very naturally to Juan. Ball played across. Budotti. And that should be a corner. It will be. Our corner's brought to us by Wilson Kehoe Whittingham, our first of the night. And again, possession starting to tilt back now in favor of the visitors.
And that's one element. I know you got great pace up top with Williams and Martinez, but you got to grab a little bit of possession. You got to force Phoenix to start defending a bit.
Just a reminder, fans, show your Indy 11 pride. Get your exclusive IMCU Indy 11 debit card at any IMCU branch or online at imcu.com today. Zambrano Steers it in. Salt couldn't get there, and it's a goal. Goal scored by Phoenix. Indy's going to be chasing the game. Phoenix on the board in minute number 19. Bending ball took Salt out of the net, and once he couldn't get to it, left an open opportunity. And Hunter Salt, just his 4th goal allowed in his 5 league matches. And Indy, as of late, has been leading these matches early. Not the case tonight. They trail this one.
If you're Phoenix, that is exactly what you needed. Probably needed to stay on his line instead of coming out for this, and it's an easy ball for him to collect.
Well struck. Ofemu couldn't get there in time.
This, we talked about energy conservation, how they're going to navigate, these 4 road games out of 5 and 3 times in the Eastern time zone, and Wednesday night playing into the 88th minute until that go-ahead goal was scored, and being on the road in Seattle. This just makes it a whole lot easier. Right now, they do not need to come out of their shape.
Hernandez with the goal gives Zambrano the assist. Zambrano, his 2nd assist of the season. He's played in all 12 Phoenix matches so far. You've got to go back a ways. The last time Indy 11 trailed.
How far?
They were definitely down in the switchbacks match. They got an early goal. That's the one they drew on April 20th. I got to kind of rack the brain in terms of the North Carolina FC match, which Indy won 2-1 on April the 27th. 1-0 win against Monterey Bay. Didn't give up a goal in either U.S. Open Cup match, and won decisively. Foul called against Budati, but won handily against Miami FC as well as Hartford Athletic.
And don't miss out on these kind of moments as they're barking instructions as opposed to putting the ball down and hitting a restart. Anytime they can grab 10, 15, 20 seconds, they're going to do it.
Of course, this match is brought to us by the Keystone Group, specializing in transformational developments, construction, management, and investments. How do you break up this possession if you're Indy?
Well, you need to get a little bit more bodies around the ball. Right there, Guenzati is just going back and forth between players because they didn't have another body that could come up and help press. Eventually, Lindley came out and was able to step to the ball, and that forced Phoenix to have to play.
See Danny Stone. Travel for them has been brutal this month. Their previous Open Cup match before Seattle was against North Carolina FC. So they had to come out to play a midweeker in Cary and then played in Detroit that weekend. So frankly, a point is a great result for them tonight. If they can somehow get 3 against one of the hottest teams in the league, all the better for Phoenix. These teams played to a 1-1 draw with Indy getting a late equalizer last year when they met in September in Arizona.
Brilliant ball from Quayshow to free this play up.
Azakar sends it in. Wyke. Let a player go chase this. He's Pay. That's across the byline. Goal kick coming. Well, the air of this building has kind of been taken out at this point in time. By the way, it is the first time that Indy has trailed since that switchbacks match on April 20th. This was kind of an issue for Indy in the earlier struggles. We showed you the graphic in the Open. Indy pulled just 4 points from their first 6 matches. That's because they were often chasing the game. Really only the Detroit City regular season loss was the exception of that in terms of Indy scoring first. That and the victory in week 2 against Memphis. So Indy on the back foot for the first time in a while.
Effective possession here. Knocking the ball around, letting Phoenix have to chase a little bit.
Frankly, I would say anything that is steered in the direction of Aiden Stanley has been an effective possession for the Indy 11 this season.
Dangerous every time he gets the ball. Whether it's an early serve or attacking the post and looking to slot it back, absolutely on fire right now.
Guenzati. Martinez. Not sure how that got through, and that will be a penalty. Jack Blake earns the penalty. He may also take the penalty and a chance to quickly level this match some 5 minutes after Phoenix went in front.
Brilliant little combination play down the right flank. Great serve in. And one of the things with Jack Blake right now, he has just got everything dialed in as far as his ability to strike a one-touch ball, whether it's in the air or on the ground. So that would have been a great opportunity for him. So justifiable call here.
And it will be Blake. Again, last year that was always Aiden Quinn's responsibility in terms of those spot kicks. Blake will get the opportunity here. Rocco will ask him about his family. Tremendous ball by Martinez. Again, let's take a look. This will give us maybe a better view. Again, deemed to be enough contact. Contact against Zambrano that creates the spot kick opportunity.
Yeah, and Rios Novo has made a living in denying players from the spot.
There seems to be some postseason experience at this from a year ago that seemingly comes to mind.
He was brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
And 4th year in the championship, actually under contract to a team in Argentina. Blake got it. Time to cue the smoke on this race weekend in Indianapolis. Blake from the spot, his 6th of the season in league play. The deficit erased. A goal apiece, 26 minutes in.
Great response. Great response.
Frankly, drawing penalties seemingly was a much bigger part of the attack a season ago for the Indy 11, as they have been so good in the run of play as well. But good to know you've got this when given the opportunity. Blake took the gamble that Rios Novo was going to move in one direction or the other, and clearly it paid off.
And a lot of those penalty kicks from last year are from a player familiar to both of these fan bases.
Right.
Solomon Asante just so great in getting into the box, drawing contact, and going down.
Blake, it's the 2nd consecutive league match in which he makes a penalty. There was one in the 3rd minute last week against Hartford. In Indy's 4-1 win, the 4 goals tying the most that Indy has scored in a USL Championship match. Yellow card assessed to Hernandez at the conclusion of play. I don't think that, frankly, that kick from the penalty spot, Brad's going to change much in terms of this match tactically at this juncture. What do you think?
Well, I don't think it's going to change much for Phoenix. I think they're going to go back to what they were trying to do, is hold the ball and just see if they can take the air out of the game. But for Indy, you can hear it from Coach McCauley. He is pushing the players. Let's press, let's make them play faster.
And we obviously have touched on this in terms of the Open Cup being in the middle of the week and both teams now playing for a 3rd time in 8 days, and how, again, it's beneficial to Indy because all of their matches, as Salt will snag that one, have been here at home. But again, you know, Sean McCauley has tried to manage the minutes in terms of rotation, you know, pulling after 30 minutes. I think there were 3 subs in the 63rd minute on Wednesday night. At some point, the legs are going to tire for the Indy 11 as well. Yes, this benefits them. Throw in coming here just next to the corner flag, and Martinez unhappy about the additional shove at the end of that play. And the referee will hear his protestations, and if Fuenmayor ever stops running away, he'll get a talking to from Colin Radisson. Right idea on the touch. Yep, right idea. Just Stanley had not ramped up to full speed just yet.
And you know he's got pace, so it's just a little, you're just trying to flick it into that window and see if he can go chase it.
Martinez, that last Barb directed at the Phoenix player. I'm sure was telling him, hey, here are the great seats for race day tomorrow. Sit just outside of turn 1. See all the action that way.
And you can see Indy stepping that line a little bit higher right now, forcing Phoenix into moments like this.
Wenzati, Blake, Williams, trying to find a window and just couldn't get all of it. Fans, a reminder to watch Wish TV, your local news source. Find them online at wishtv.com. Our battalion starting to bounce now in the west end of the stadium. And Blake draws contact. Well, Jack Blake has been a very good player ever since he first came to the States to play for Minnesota United in their last year in the NASL in 2016. What has differentiated him this year, Brad?
I won't say a completely different guy because he's been talented his whole career, but every tool in his toolbox this year is polished and ready to go, and he's firing on all cylinders. You look at it, and I referenced it just before the penalty kick. These balls that are bouncing around the box that are being served, you'd often see a player take 2 touches. He is pulling it out of the air and not just striking and making good contact, but he's making a dangerous play out of it.
In any sport, in preseason, we tend to say, hey, it's nice that you did well, but it's not the regular season. Blake got on a heater in the preseason and it's not cooled down yet.
No, and I think one of the things in where he's positioned right now is just behind the front 3. And so it's a little bit more sneaky. He's got guys that are drawing all the attention, the attacking third, and then he's just popping right into the seam and making it count.
Yeah, Blake, 3 goals and an assist last year. And again, he was a solid player last year. He wasn't this. He was more of a key piece, not a playmaker or a goal scorer. And frankly, he has become both for this team. Good work here. Lindley charging forward. Can Williams get there? The answer is yes. Here comes Budati.
Great overlapping run.
Williams has a hit. When Mayor sends that towards the softball fields next to the track complex. And we have ourselves a corner kick, which is brought to us by Wilson Kehoe Winningham. But we also have a card being shown from the action that happened a minute or 2 ago. So a second yellow has now been shown. So a member of Phoenix Rising. This will be Stanley, where he has done so much damage.
Yeah, and then the targets on the other side, Dispe and Afemu, have just been great at finding the opposite end of the ball.
Bending in, parried away, and then knocked back to midfield. Gallardo giving pressure for Phoenix, and Lindley finds the safety valve on Hunter Salt. Sears with the yellow card. Hernandez also being given a yellow early in the match. Stanley the target. Wyke got there first. And touched last by Jack Blake.
Impressive job by Phoenix. They're making the space to Stanley very difficult to find. They're shifting their players out there, and you know there's times in the run of play that they've got the ball that they can play through, but when they possess it a little bit longer on the back line, Phoenix is doing a nice job of squeezing play.
McGowan Insurance Group and Auto Owners Insurance have teamed up to make tailored insurance policies for your family. When Zadi and Augie Williams both in the top 10 in terms of career goal scorers in USL Championship play. Right now, Augie Williams 1 behind Sebastian on that all-time list. Only other active players in the top 10. Nico Brett and Enzo Martinez. Martinez. Stanley couldn't blast it through. And now a chase for O'Brien.
And you reference the top 10 in scoring, and when you look at it, the thing that stands out is Dane Kelly, 105 goals, and he spent a couple seasons in the MLS as well. And you look at what Nico Brett is at 81, so he's 24 behind. Nico's had a great career. The guys that I think are going to be able to make a run at this are some of the younger guys coming up. Wilson Harris, if Mark Koenig stays on the tear he's on, he may get it this year.
12 goals to lead the league as the leading striker for the Charleston Battery.
You can see how disciplined Phoenix is right now. That they're just not coming out to chase the ball, staying in their blocks, making sure they give no opportunities, no channels and lanes to play through, conserving energy even when they're defending.
Here's a Famu. Oh, Famu may be, and this is an unofficial title, but the most physically imposing Indy 11 player in their 11-year history. When he goes to training camp, meaning when the Colts are training at Grand Park in July, he may get routed towards the defensive ends at some point in time in the drills. Dispay under pressure. Stanley. And Rios Novo able to keep it in play.
Brilliant.
Well,
Brilliant.
if Rios Novo wants to take a pause, it would be a good time for you to enjoy some mom water. Not him, he's playing. But for you watching at home, refreshing, fruit-infused vodka water with zero carbonation, zero sugar, zero carbs, only 90 calories. Mom water is the perfect game day drink found in Indiana, and now a proud sponsor of the Indy 11. And as always, please drink and enjoy responsibly. Did you bring the mom water to the broadcast booth tonight, Brad?
There it is right there.
Thank you. Actually, in all seriousness, you did before the game. It is greatly appreciated. Thank you very much for that.
You are welcome.
Juan Mayor. And the early goal. Jose Andres Hernandez. And the foul in the box called against Phoenix. Blake Drew said foul. Foul against Dispay. And then Blake made the corresponding penalty for his 6th tally of the season, at least in league action.
And you look, when you're talking tactics and you're talking game plan, this game is lining up the way that Danny Stone would have scripted it. Can we get it? Can we keep it close? Because they got some weapons on the bench, and they're going to start throwing those cards on the table later in this game if they can keep it close.
This match brought to part by Community Health Network. Exceptional care, simply delivered.
There's one thing you get from Guenzati, no matter where he's playing, it's 100% effort, all in. Guy wants to win everything, every 50-50 ball, every ball in the box, every match. Love the warrior spirit in him.
Well, we first saw Seba back in his New York Cosmos days and spent 6 tremendous years with the Tampa Bay Rowdies. 59 goals with the Rowdies, second most for a player with one franchise in this league, only behind what Cameron Lancaster did in his tenure in Lou City. And the goal scoring came last year. It's not come as much this year, but again, you nailed it. It's the heart out there every match for the Indy 11. Bending ball in, and Salt. Foul going to be called. Dispay went to the ground. That was, if it was not a foul, it almost was nearly an own goal.
That is a great serve. Great serve. Trouble spot in the sun. Just out of reach of Solt.
And when it's out of the reach of Solt, that's saying something. When he got to play for Portland Timbers 3 years ago as a teenager, and not the 2 team, the MLS side, he became the 2nd youngest goalkeeper in a Major League Soccer match. How's that for timing? Wow. If Dispay gets that wrong, that's a point to the spot. Right. Deemed that he got the ball. Player down behind the play for Phoenix. We play on.
Well, there were 2 things that could have gone wrong on that play, and only one thing that could have gone right. And the thing that could have gone right happened, because it could have been a point to the spot. It also could have been that Dispay got beat to the ball, and he's walking in on Solt.
Indy had their defensive issues early in the year. They have largely shored them up And part of that is also, not playing Charleston or Louisville. There's something to that as well, as those two combined for 9 goals against Indy in back-to-back weeks. Those two teams still atop the table, but both left some points over the course of the last 24 hours. Lou City a 0-0 result earlier. And again, Charleston, as mentioned, their first loss in 12 matches this season to El Paso last night. That game in the Low Country. Locomotive on the road gets a 2-1 victory.
You take a look at 11 unbeaten this year, but what did they run towards the end of last year? It was double digits as well. So at some point, you're going to drop a match.
I tend to have that first round result seared in my brain from last year from the Charleston Battery. Didn't go well for the Indy 11.
No.
To change the subject, let's say nice things about Dormicaba. Dormicaba for every place that matters. Salt calmly and casually knocks that one 60 yards to the other side of the park. Foul going to be called against White.
Good, quick restart.
Blake avoids 2 defenders. Draws oohs and ahs from the BYB. How about that for a hit? He's been doing it all season. Anywhere from 25 yards and in.
Yeah.
You feel he's got a shot every time.
And the thing earlier, you talked about the amazing job he did in preseason. In preseason early in this year, when he'd start pulling up from spots that, you look, hey, that's a bit adventurous to have a go from there. Early on, you're kind of holding your breath. But then after he's put a couple in and been dangerous on him, you're like, okay, have a go.
Select, the official match ball supplier for the USL Championship and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com. The latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Professional foul given by Cam Lindley, and he'll be shown yellow. So first yellow against an Indy 11 player, and frankly, when Cam is shown a yellow, usually he has done something very intentionally to get said card, and took the air out of the ball by getting a card. Did Cam in that scenario.
And a great touch by Quayshow. He just saw there was a little bit of space, takes a big touch that's going to allow him just to sprint to the ball, and Cam Lindley says, nope, not today.
Cam only missed 1 match last season when he accumulated 8 yellows and couldn't play in the next one. We'll do that from time to time. Our final minutes of the half are brought to us by Sherwin-Williams, official paint sponsor of Indy 11. Sherwin-Williams is the partner to the pro.
Good find.
Zambrano, O'Brien with the read. Frankly, we probably have not talked about O'Brien enough this year. 21 years old, played professionally in England and Scotland the last couple of years. Was going to go to University of Washington, ended up at Watford instead. Here's the counter now for Phoenix.
Yep. 3-on-3, 4-on-4. Fame is doing everything to get back.
And O'Brien, again, we should talk about him more often.
Augie Williams.
The pirouette. Azukar. And waved off. Lefty hit. Salt. Played it exceedingly well.
What a strike.
That's Quayshow. Last played for Sacramento Republic before joining Phoenix before the beginning of last season. If you're Sean McCauley, how are you feeling about this right now, Brad?
It's played a little bit into Phoenix's game. It's a more methodical, slower game. I think you want to see this pace get a little bit faster. You want to see the pressure a little bit more, force them into it. But then that ball's got to move a little bit quicker because they're sitting in such a tight defensive block. The way to open it up is that ball's got to be pinging around the field.
Martinez comes right back to him. This reminder, like tonight's match, the USL Championship is on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Budati headed out. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Galazzo Network and ESPN Plus. Go to USLChampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. And tonight on CBS Sports Galazzo,
Tough turnover. Is anybody going to join it? Can they join it? Great job by Indy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys getting back behind the ball.
I get the feeling again, because of third match in 8 days for each of these two teams, that you're going to see a good number of substitutions about 15 minutes into half number 2. Both teams look to kind of mix it up. Although, frankly, again, you've got more of what would be your traditional starting 11 on the field for the Indy 11 tonight.
Yeah, it's always a bit of a gamble when you say, hey, we're gonna sit a couple of our key players and see if we can navigate this into the later minutes of the match, because you never know. If the game gets away from you, that card you were hoping to play disappears in its value.
Stanley. Wyke.
Well done.
Again, Wyke's been one of the better defenders. Originally was a midfielder, now plays more of a defensive role, but he has always been solid since becoming a part of this league. Ball finds the feet of Martinez. Martinez cuts it back, but
there you go.
Nothing there.
Well defended if that ball continues to go. Now they still got a chance on the counter. Indy's got to recover. Poorly played ball in a critical moment for Phoenix.
And we did have 2 goals, but I don't think we're going to have an inordinate amount of additional time leading into halftime. The answer is 2.
Look at you. Look at you.
Stay tuned at halftime. We'll talk more about the Indy 11's U.S. Open Cup triumph against Detroit City. Talk about what's coming up next on that competition for Indy, the furthest they have ever played in 9 attempts in the Open Cup. And oh yeah, the women's team just scored 10 goals 2 nights ago. The defending USLW League champs are in fine form. All of that coming up at halftime. Throw in coming here for the Indy 11. Also a reminder that Indy's on the road next week in Pittsburgh. Flag goes up on Guenzati. That'll be one of our handful of road telecasts for 2024. So make sure you join us on My Indy TV. You want to get the Indy 11 perspective on the always interesting battle with Bob Lilly and the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, and reports of their demise earlier this season were greatly exaggerated, because any Bob Lilly team is going to be tough as nails.
And it had to be a difficult locker room to be in those first few weeks as they were dropping matches.
Brad, it's a difficult locker room when they're winning.
100%. So he just never takes his foot off the gas.
And now Budati will be shown yellow. So second yellow given to the Indy 11 as Azakar goes to the turf. So Budati joins Lindley on a yellow card caution. I don't think Indy's played bad, but again, I think Phoenix has played well. And again, they were the champs last year.
Well, one of the things, when you come in and dictate a little bit more of a passive possession game, trying to take the air out of the game, there are times you can lull your opponent into thinking that it's just a slower match and to play in that rhythm. Dangerous moment here.
Already 1 goal off a corner. And no second ball. You could hear Sean McCauley basically saying, second ball, second ball. Well, didn't get to it because time has run out. And speaking of Coach McCauley, we'll get him lined up for a quick chat at the end of the half, as Indy has played Phoenix to a 1-1 draw at this juncture of the match. Again, the defending USL champs. This, by the way, was the final score when these two teams played last September. We're getting Coach McCauley in position. Now we've got him ready to go. Coach, as always, thank you for your time. What'd you see from your team in half number 1?
You know, good in moments and poor in others. We've been good when we've pressed the ball and we've made it difficult for the opponent. When we've sat off and been passive and not aggressive, we've looked really poor.
Anything from a tactics standpoint you look to change in half number 2?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it where they want to build out, they want to build out and spread the field as wide as you can. And so that means you can't go man for man because they've got an extra number with the goalkeeper. So what you have to do is play in between and have mark 2 people. And once it goes to that person, you've got to press full on. Not what we're doing, we're too passive.
Go get him in the second half, Coach. Thank you.
Will do.
Sean McCauley, head coach of the Indy 11. Thoughts on what Sean had to say?
Well, I think it's exactly what we talked about, is you're letting Phoenix dictate play a little bit, and you can break that up with your pressure.
And you could tell that it's on Coach's radar. They'll be talking to the boys coming up in a matter of moments. We'll talk about the Indy 11 women's team success when we come back. A 1-1 draw so far here at Carroll Stadium.
It's very true that it takes a village to raise a child. And when it comes to my healthcare village at Community Health Network, it's all nestled right in my phone. Accessing healthcare is the ability to be connected with your provider and ask a question when you need it. I feel like when I'm meeting with a community nurse practitioner or doctor, they're tuned in to what is going on with me and the way that they can serve me best.
Stand by me.
And the winner of the Indianapolis 500.
Indiana, winning is in our DNA. And we're winning the future with $22 billion in new business investment, building an economy of the future with unprecedented momentum. Indiana, for the winners.
On this racing Indy night, the night before the Indy 500, we're at halftime between the defending USL champs in Phoenix Rising and the Indy 11. Greg Rakestraw, Brad Hodder with you on the CBS Sports Galazzo Network as well as My Indy TV. Well, in addition to talking about the men's team this time of year, we get the honor of talking about the women's team, and they too are defending champions. The W League and Paul Dolinsky's team, Brad, is off another flyer of a start. They have scored 16 goals in their first 3 matches this year. The voice you heard there for a moment was Ian Gilmore, who had the call on Thursday.
Dynamic play going forward, not just in the attacking third, but in the middle third, the interplay, the combination play to create those opportunities up front.
The schedule compressed a bit as far as the home slate is concerned. The next match at St. Charles is on the road Wednesday night. Your next chance to catch the girls in blue at the Grand Park Indoor Event Center is this coming Sunday. It's Lexington FC. If you can't get there, Ian Gilmore, Brad Hodder have the call. I get to come back for the Racing Louisville match on Friday, June 7th. Again, Indy11.com always has more. Simply click on the W League tab for more information. And you can take the girls or the boys in blue with you wherever you go. Download the Indy 11 app in the Apple Store or get it on Google Play. Been a glorious night in downtown Indy. More of our halftime show comes your way next.
You'll get it done.
When termites show up, so do we. Terminix it.
Traeger up over the top. Tristan Traeger. It's in.
Opportunity here. The hit and a goal.
The best nights start with Jägermeister. Made with 56 botanicals. Always served ice cold.
Take a miracle to come back from this. Heartbreaking end to the season. But what's this?
For the moments when anticipation.
Clock's counting down. 5 seconds. 3, 2.
Becomes celebration. Jägermeister. Meister the moment.
They're hungry for the women's game. They want to see women's soccer. They want to play women's soccer, and that's what we're building at the USL.
You can see it in my eyes when we walk past. Grinding every night, won't settle for less. Got me looking to the sky, got me feeling blessed. Got this
looks great.
When termites show up, so do we. Terminix it.
I'm a happy-go-lucky guy, but sometimes I get a little stressed because I'm not for sure what's going to happen down the road. I was at the cancer unit, and when I come out from seeing the doctor, I said something about needing some help with all the paperwork. They gave me a name and a phone number. Her name is Molly. She works over at Community. She tells me, stop worrying, let me take care of it. She is my angel.
Stand by me.
Time for our look around the league with news and notes. And again, we've talked about this on this broadcast a lot. Indy 11 on to the quarterfinals. They'll face an MLS side for the first time against Atlanta United. All matches, the 4 that are left in the quarterfinals are free on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV. New Mexico United, they were bigger than Belson as they defeated NYC FC 2 on Tuesday. And Sacramento does it again. Beat San Jose again. They got to the final 2 years ago, and Sacramento's just really good, period.
And the way that they did it, too, was just so incredible with 2 unbelievable late goals.
And we reference this because of being Charleston's first loss, but I don't think we're all that surprised that El Paso Locomotive got a charge as soon as Wilmer Cabrera took over as the new head coach in Southwest Texas.
Well, you got a veteran coach coming in, a team that was struggling, and so you hate to see any coach lose their position, but when you bring in somebody of his stature, it energizes the locker room, and you see the results.
A very Tampa Bay Rowdies heavy team of the week. Cal Jennings and Manuel Arteaga, both former members of the Indy 11, by the way. Forrest Lasso and Charlie Dennis. Aiden Stanley, as talked about, 3rd consecutive Team of the Week honors for Aiden Stanley. Now, as far as the table is concerned, again, both Charleston and Lou City, frankly, have enough of a cushion, but within reach now for Detroit City, for Indy 11. Tampa Bay, again, we'll get it figured out at some point. And they're fighting some injuries right now, too. And let's note, Detroit has 3 games in hand on the Indy 11.
Right, so you say that it's within reach. Both of them dropped some points here, and Detroit is sitting there saying, hey, look, we got a couple in the hand here. We could just sit back, watch how things are developing, and then come and strike our points when the games arrive.
Detroit has pulled just 2 points from their last 9 after they won their first 5 matches out of the chute. Scores around the USL Championship. There were 3 matches an evening ago, and we've already talked about El Paso and Charleston. Let's go now to that score in the upper right-hand corner. Rhode Island and Lou City, 0-0. So again, points shed by Lou City today.
You could see as Rhode Island was putting their roster together, they weren't putting it in here to say, hey, let's grow into a team. They were putting it in to be competitive in year 1.
Indy 11 will see Rhode Island FC for the first time on the road on July 5th. Again, Rhode Island, a brand new team in the league this year. So here are the remaining matches tonight. You also see some of the midweek matches that will take place as well. So we will have a road broadcast next Saturday for that Pittsburgh Riverhounds match. This reminder as well, mark your calendars. Wednesday night, Monterey Bay FC takes on Eastern Conference leader Charleston Battery. That's at 10 o'clock, and that is available on CBS Sports Network. Second half action is not too far away. Indy 11 and Phoenix Rising still battling for all 3 points. It's a goal apiece as you're watching on My Indy TV and the CBS Sports Galazo Network.
The main part of my job is definitely listening. People deserve transparency. I don't want the financial part to be something that stops or hinders a patient from having the health care that they need. I try to treat each person like they're my mom or my grandmother, my daughter, my husband. I want them to know that they're not just another phone call for us. And it's very rewarding to know that I can provide peace of mind.
Stand by me.
Meet Chip. 30 years ago, he started a small business with a big idea. Today, there's a new building, a new fleet of equipment, and a new era of leadership. But we know Chip. And at Indiana Members Credit Union, we know he plans to keep growing, building business with the next generation. IMCU is here to help with secure and simple account management tools and commercial financing to grow business. Today, it's all about Chip. Tomorrow, it's all about you. Because at IMCU, it's you that matters.
When your cat's a meme and your dog is too.
And it's hard to know what's fake or true.
Just raise a glass with a friend or two.
You tell them more, tell them more, tell them more, do.
When the online trends keep getting worse.
And you lost your keys in the metaverse.
Now your right swipe just went left on you.
You tell them more, tell them more, tell them more, do.
It's a crazy world, so what do you do?
You tell them more, tell them more, tell them more, do.
At Security Federal, our flexible banking solutions mean your financial future has never been brighter. Our business options will keep you one step ahead of the competition, and the communities we serve can depend on us to be there when it counts. At Security Federal Savings Bank, flexibility means everything because it's all about you. Now offering free business and personal checking. Call or visit us online today.
Tonight's match is presented by Community Health Sports Medicine. Exceptional care simply delivered. And by your Central Indiana Ford dealers. Your Central Indiana Ford dealers are a proud sponsor of Indy 11 Soccer. Visit your local Ford dealer today for great deals on your favorite Ford vehicle. Before we get to half number 2, you see a couple of subs, and Remy Cabral may be one of those that could be coming in sooner rather than later for Phoenix Rising. Let's show you how we got here. A quick look at our first half highlights. And Brad, the opening salvo belonged to the visitors off a corner.
And when you're looking at how they came in, they wanted to just hold possession and really not spend a lot of energy, hope for either a counter opportunity or a restart. They got the restart. They converted. Tip of the hat to Phoenix.
Hernandez gets the goal in minute number 19, but it did not take long for Indy 11 to respond. Blake draws the penalty, and Blake would convert the spot moments later.
Yeah, as hot as he is, if that ball goes through to him, you expect him to put it on goal.
O'Brien with the header. Schultz had to deflect that away. And then again, hear about this tackle by Deespay. If he gets that wrong, we're having a different conversation about half number 1.
Yeah, he gets it wrong in a couple ways, either with a foul or he doesn't get enough of it, and they're walking in unsold.
So 2 substitutions in total as we show you those highlights from half number 1. So we thought that maybe Phoenix might be changing things up about the 60-minute mark. No, they're going to make changes right here at minute number 45. Federico Varela will be coming on. And again, Remy Cabral, who's got 6 goals. He spent last year lighting it up for Colorado Rapids 2 in MLS Next Pro. Cabral will come on for Ryan Flood. Haven't gotten a signal as to who Varela is coming in for. But again, 2 new faces immediately. Now we see Quaisho is the player that gets removed in favor of Varela. 45 minutes left to go in this one, on this racing Indy night. Only meeting of these 2 teams this year. If not, that's a good thing for both teams. It means they're playing in the USL Cup Championship coming up in November. That's the last time that Augie Williams saw Phoenix. He was playing for the Charleston Battery. Phoenix had previously been the runners-up to Lou City back in 2018. Ball knocked forward. Is Williams onside? The answer's no. Flag went up.
That's one thing that Phoenix has to be careful of. You cannot play with a high back line and space exposed behind your defenders because of the pace of Martinez and Williams.
Rios Novo has been buying some extra time on restarts the entire night. See if they get a bit more aggressive now with Cabral and Varela into the mix. Budati down.
See it.
Yeah, he's been dealing with injury. soldiered through a dislocated shoulder.
Unreal.
For a part of last year. And basically missed 2 matches. Not sure he is 90 minutes fit yet. But again, what we have seen from him in 46 plus has been really good.
I don't think in his life he's ever not been 90 minutes fit. He's just got that kind of an engine.
Reminder, fans, visit your Central Indiana Ford dealers. They're a proud sponsor of Indy 11 soccer. Visit your local Ford dealer today for great deals on your favorite Ford vehicle. Good touch here. We're all fresh legs tracking this one down. Has 2 runners inside of the 18. Now a third. Elects to hold for possession. Good play by Blake.
Yeah, the sub of Cabral, it sends a message to both teams that, hey, while we still may look to possess and control the tempo of this game, we're putting our main weapon up top right now. We're going for the 3 points.
Lawrence White, native of England.
Great ball.
Spell of possession here. Azokar couldn't get around Ofemu. The bends, as Sean McCauley has called the 2 players acquired from Miami FC 411. Mines and Ofemu come this way. Danny Barbier and Roberto Molina headed to South Florida. How have those 2 been able to get ingrained so quickly into the Indy 11 attack?
Well, you look at how Budati's been trying to fight his way back into fitness and fight through this injury. Mines has got the pace and the electricity to fill that spot very, very well on the right side. And Ofemu, he's just been rock solid in the back, and now he's adding in that scoring element.
Goals in the last 2 matches. One of those a league match against Hartford. They're coming in the Open Cup match against Detroit City FC. White will knock this back to Rios Novo. Rocco from Los Angeles, but has played his international soccer for Argentina. A giveaway here. White again. That's a jersey tug. That's a card. And that's a set piece opportunity for the Indy 11. Well, much as the tactical foul was given to Cam Lindley earlier, that came into midfield. This comes right in front of the 18.
That's the one thing as Phoenix goes to press, for the next goal. They just cannot open themselves up and give that kind of space, because you are playing with 3 backs, and you've got Williams and Martinez up top. And if that ball is just struck into space, there's not too many players in this league that can stay with them.
Obviously, this is a spot where you can go for goal. And as you see Rios Novo, the sun is still playing a factor. Again, for those in Phoenix not seen a match here before, this is the unique east-west pitch because it's inside of what was a track stadium when it was built 40 years ago, so not north and south. Not only does Rios Novo have to fight the skill of the Indy 11 some 25 yards away, he's fighting the setting sun to the west.
I love the way he plays. He just plays with such incredible confidence.
Hernandez doing a have a nice day drill behind the 5-man wall. And Blake has to go up and over and couldn't bring it back down. So a missed opportunity for the Indy 11. Of course, this match is brought to us by Community Health Sports Medicine, the official sports medicine provider of the Indy 11. Exceptional care simply delivered. When you got the frustration from Coach McCauley, you can still kind of see it in his face. What has him been agitated about what he's seen from his team right now?
Well, he's letting the pace be dictated by Phoenix. He wants higher pressure up the field. He wants to force this game to be played at a faster pace.
I don't think the game's been sped up just yet, Coach. Phoenix is trying to draw the air out of it when they can. As a reminder, fans, you can show your Indy 11 pride to get your exclusive IMCU Indy 11 debit card at any IMCU branch or online now at imcu.com today.
That's just a great turn by Cam to not only free himself up in the middle, but to keep them defensively tucked centrally, and then looks to just drop a ball into the space for Budati.
Away by the Indy 11, Martinez. Walks us to the corner flag. Throw in for the Indy 11. Juan Mayor, the last player to touch for the visitors. It's a good crowd on hand right now for the Indy 11, but frankly, it is a very silent crowd, and that is a credit to what Phoenix Rising has done, how they have handled this match from a tactical standpoint.
Yeah, and if Indy can draw one here and pull one out and go up 2-1, the crowd will become electric, and it's also going to force Phoenix to have to come out and play.
There might be a little fatigue from the Indy 11 fans, and that's not just conserving energy for tomorrow's Indy 500. This is the 5th home match in 8 days for the Indy 11 men and women combined. I'm not sure there's ever too much of a good thing like having 5 home matches in 8 days, but it has been a very busy stretch for Indy 11 fans, for Indy 11 players, for Indy 11 front office.
Yeah, fans have done a great job. They've shown up for all 5 of these matches. They've stayed hydrated. They're cheering. Great energy.
Budati. The deft touch, but one defender and not 2.
We've seen him do that before. Sets that defender up, and as he looks to close down with the strike, just slips between his legs and runs behind.
Marboy able to get in front of that one. When Zadi, a nudge, but not a controlling touch. O'Brien, he called for the foul. I mean, if he doesn't put his hands on him, that's no problem there. It is. You look guilty when you put your hands in the back of the defender like that.
Cabral, as soon as he felt the pressure, he went down.
You have the 6 goals this year in league action for Phoenix Rising. Martinez.
Wow, that's a great thought.
Blake applying pressure on Wyke. Wyke spent a couple of years at each of 2 different colleges, one of which my partner coached against in his small college coaching days. Azoka. Lindley.
Well defended.
Picks his pocket. Launches it forward for Blake. Blake. Williams to his right. Switches up the attack, but equally well read by Phoenix, and now they have a numbers advantage going the other way.
And you have to be careful in moments like that with a flat ball across the middle as you've got numbers going forward, and Phoenix really needs to take advantage of this opportunity.
They'll play it back, and the brawl couldn't get there in time.
Took a little too long for Phoenix to decide to run on that one.
You kind of get the feeling that this is the 3rd match in 8 days for both these 2 teams.
Yeah, but when those moments arrive, when they pop up, that's when you got to find that 5th gear.
Steered away by Phoenix. Blake couldn't settle it.
You can see the fatigue in the recovery runs. It always takes a little bit more out of you defensively.
Have a hit from distance. Heads up atop the BYB.
Don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's 5-on-5, and you're going to take a shot from 30? You got all the space in the world in the attacking third.
There's some mental fatigue involved there, too, on both sides. Tyler Gibson about to make his way to the 4th official for the Indy 11. I think Ben Mines is standing next to him. Guys that both had varying degrees of minutes played on Wednesday night. Fresh legs in the midfield potentially coming on for the Indy 11. Ofemu, and a foul against the Indy 11. That's going to be on Jack Blake. And a card against Blake. So make it 3 Indy 11 players that have seen yellow tonight. Same number. One in the opposite direction. And Mines and Gibson will try to pick up the pace of the midfield for the Indy 11. First, take a look at the potential foul that drew the ire of tonight's match referee and Colin Radasaw.
This is one thing. You look at Rios Novo, and it's one of the special things about great goalkeepers is there's just a different look about them. There's just a different confidence in them. And when you're a defender and you're a teammate and you look back and you see that level of confidence and that level of experience and you just have an elevated level of trust, you get to play different in front of those kind of keepers.
What notes me, or notes what I note about the 2 keepers tonight, neither one has turned 22 yet.
Ridiculous.
And that position seemingly is getting younger at this level. Cabral. Finally, O'Brien holds him up long enough. Now Dispay has some room to operate.
2-on-2.
Martinez makes the run. Just couldn't keep it at his feet. But give away at the back.
What
again.
an opportunity.
There are both some physically tired and mentally tired players on the pitch right now. You are seeing the effects of having to play a high level for a 3rd time in 8 days. Next stoppage in play, you'll see 2 fresh faces for the Indy 11. Here's Wyke.
He is good holding a player off with the ball at his feet.
Zambrano slides it through for Cabral and Salts. Well, it will be a corner brought to us by Wilson Kehoe-Winningham. Salted to come up and make another big play.
Yeah, it's a great read. That's a great read. You don't want him to just turn and have that shot and you have little windows exposed because you stayed on your line.
Tonight's match brought to us in part by Sports Tech HQ. Indiana, winning is in our DNA. For more information, visit forthebold.com. Orella. Elliot Collier, by the way, now is going to join the mix for the Indy 11 as well. Stanley got there first. Flag's going to go up. Flag's up. Offside against Phoenix. So maybe a 3-man substitution here as Gabe Zapponi gets the information to our 4th official. Elliot Collier, who had the match winner against Monterey Bay 3 weeks ago. And I want to give this opportunity to give a nod to Mike Watts, who's been the voice of this league for a long time. He had the call of that Indy 11 Monterey Bay match 3 weeks ago, and the fact that he had the exact date of the last goal that Elliot Collier had scored for the Indy 11 from September of 2018. The fact that Mike had that on the ready is what makes him the pro that he is.
Isn't it great when guys can do that? You know, they just are able to go deep into the library in their skull and just pull out random facts.
Now, I didn't have that date memorized as terms of when the last time he scored. But as soon as Mike said the date ago, yeah, the Indy 11 played the Tampa Bay Rowdies 2-0 on a Wednesday night, and they were dominant in that game. Remember how good that game was for the Indy 11? Just control the tempo.
I don't remember any of it.
Mines in for Budati. Gibson in for Lindley. Collier in for Augie Williams. That's Elliot Collier in his 2nd stint with the Indy 11. 6 years removed from last playing with the team. The native of New Zealand. Spent last year with San Diego Loyal. Spent 4 years under contract with Chicago Fire. And Collier, as if he were shot out of a cannon, is chasing this. A giveaway, but getting back in time. And a card is going to be shown. Card is going to be shown, I believe, to Rios Novo.
Here's what I'm talking about from just moments ago. Look at Rios Novo. Turns the ball over. That almost leads to a goal. Gets a yellow card. And look, instructing his players. Nothing happened. Everything's good. Confidence. This is one of the things, too, about Elliot Collier. He closes play down. He does not look like he's moving that fast. I don't know if it's the big strides or if he's just sneaky and deceptive. But he closes players down well.
So there was contact made outside of the box by the keeper in Rios Novo. That's the reason for the infraction and the set piece coming here for the Indy 11.
Now, can Indy make them pay? You got Aiden Stanley, who's brilliant on his left foot. Does he curl at something back post? And you got Collier, Dees Pay, Ofemu going back post. Or do you look at Jack Blake looking at bending something with his right foot, see if he can get something behind the back line that Indy can beat their defender to?
Indy had a chance from a similar distance. Not that long ago. And again, you see the same tactic being taken. Block the ability to go low here for the Indy 11. This match brought to part of the Denny Companies, tearing down the pass so you can build the future. Blake gets it through. Wow. Blake gets the goal. It's a brace for Jack Blake. It's 2-1 Indy in minute number 64. Cue the smoke one more time on the night before the Indy 500.
Now that is a great strike, but you got to question the wall in that moment.
A tremendous bit of skill for Jack Blake. He had a brace in the loss against Lou City. Hopes to have a brace and a win this time through. Is there one more goal in this one? We'll find out. This has been a grinder between two good teams. Got through the wall and got past Rocco Rios Novo. And two more subs are about to enter. That's the fourth official for Phoenix Rising.
A goalkeeper's nightmare. Your responsibility is to the back post. You set the wall up to cover the near post. It cannot split. It cannot break. And it gave a channel between the last man.
Panos Armanakis making his way to the fourth official. Gabby Torres doing the same. And Phoenix going to chase this one. Stanley. We've talked about so much of his offensive skill. He is naturally a left back. Makes a solid defensive play. And now Guenzati gives chase and will try to wait for teammates. That will be a throw-in coming for the Indy 11. Let's talk this. Seemingly there's been less of the ball played to Aiden Stanley tonight. Is that something Indy is doing, or is that something Phoenix has taken away?
I think Phoenix has shifted some bodies in there. The space that he normally, and they're playing with a 3-back. So
correct.
When you look at it, their outside right midfielder is holding back a little bit more. So when Indy looks up, there's not the space to just drive that ball into and have him run on.
Tack this on to the teams at the top end of the table. And frankly, top of kind of the programs with pedigree in this league that Indy has played in the first 3 months. Home opener was against Sacramento Republic. Indy played them to a 1-1 draw. Have a road win at Monterey Bay earlier this month. And losses to the two beasts of the East at this point in the Charleston Battery and Lou City. But at a chance really to kind of test their mettle. Indy has a 2-1 lead with 25 minutes and change left to go. And again, if Indy can hold this lead, they will finish the month of May unbeaten in all competitions. Not just unbeaten, but pulling a victory in every one of them. He's got 2 substitutions left they can call upon. Phoenix has 3, and 2 of them are about to enter when given the opportunity.
And you can see what we saw from Phoenix early on about sitting in, bodies behind the ball, no lanes to play through. Indy's doing the same thing right now, just making it very difficult to find any kind of space into the attacking third.
And sometimes you create your own lane, like Elliot Collier just did, breaking through and drawing the foul. You could also do that when you're driving your favorite vehicle from your Central Indiana Ford dealer. Actually, you follow all rules and regulations of the road. Your Central Indiana Ford dealer, a proud sponsor of Indy 11 soccer. Hernandez, the goal scored, will come off. Azokar comes off as well. Both those players really solid tonight. Hernandez does exit with a yellow as well. Now Hunter Salt will take some time. Salt, the native Alaskan. How good's the soccer scene in Alaska, you might ask? Well, first of all, you can play like 24 hours a day in the summer. And secondarily, Obed Vargas, playing for the Seattle Sounders, also an Alaskan native as well. Foul against Phoenix. Gwenzati takes a tumble.
That's just his work rate. Always buzzing around the ball, always getting in, always sticking himself into a tough spot. Draws the foul, puts Indy into another dangerous opportunity.
Sports This match is brought to us by Johnson Controls. Johnson Controls, the power behind your mission. Headed down. Can Collier get there? He can, but he hits that towards the natatorium. Goal kick coming.
It laid up well. The problem was the defender was closing him down so quickly. He could not wait to let that ball drop a little bit lower. He had to strike it and just hope.
Indy, Colorado Springs, the 2 teams that have currently won 4 consecutive matches in league play. The Switchbacks have pulled 3 points for every match since they played the Indy 11 back on April the 20th. He's trying to maintain a 1-goal lead for the next 21 or so minutes.
Yeah, you look at that draw that Indy 11 and Colorado Springs have, and both teams came out of that changed.
And honestly, the Switchbacks were not that great heading into that match.
1 goal in 5 matches.
Correct. Of course, we have a couple of former Indy 11 players on that team, and Jonas Fjellberg, and how about that by Aiden Stanley? Not to mention Juan Tejada. They're doing good things out in the state of Colorado.
An old Duke.
Duke Lacroix as well, yes sir. Last played for the Indy 11 8 years ago.
How about that? You say old Duke because he is now a longtime veteran.
His first professional stop was here with Indy 11. Ben Mines taken down by Fuenmayer. Sean McCauley lobbying the 4th official for a yellow. Lawrence Wotton about to come on for a 4th time in league play for the Indy 11. Martinez. Mines.
Great ball.
Didn't miss Collier by much. Now Rios Novo trying to launch quickly, but Dees Pay up to the challenge. Dees Pay and Cam Lindley, the 2 all-league level performers last year for the Indy 11.
What a touch from Dees Pay. Not only just stepping in to steal the ball, but in one touch playing it to Aiden Stanley.
Played for FC Tulsa before he came to the Indy 11, now 30 years of age. Players acquired at the beginning of last year for Indy. Dees Pay and Martinez, again, right as the season started, has been tremendous. Erickson Gallardo playing the role of shadow. And before the restart, here comes the next substitution, and Sebastian Gwenzati will get the rest of the evening off. That doesn't happen very often. Last year, Gwenzati appeared in all 37 matches for the Indy 11. That's 34 regular season, 2 Open Cup in the playoff match against the Charleston Battery as well.
Gives you everything he's got every minute he's on the field.
If he's looking to kick back after playing 72 minutes, he can visit the Hyatt Place at Hyatt House in downtown Indianapolis. Experience comfort in downtown Indy, whether you played 72 minutes or not. Hyatt Place and Hyatt House, downtown Indianapolis.
Well defended by Wyke.
Have you started to rack your brain as to where he might have played that you have coached at in your past?
No.
He spent...
I can rack my brain. It's still not going to be in there, Rake.
He spent 2 years at Trinity in San Antonio at the Division III level, which were members of the Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference with Brad Hodder's DePaul University Tigers.
And when I coached at Rose-Hulman, we were in that same conference and played. And that was when, back in the day, they had Lance Key, who wound up being a draft pick in the MLS for Colorado. Spent a couple years there and now is doing amazing things as a college coach.
Lawrence spent 2 years at Furman before making his entree into professional soccer. Good ball here. Varela. Great sliding tackle.
I may have this wrong, but I'm going to try some trivia on you. Okay.
Fire away.
So you said Furman, right?
Yep.
Who is one of the greatest coaches ever on this planet to come out of that school?
From Furman?
As a coach, yeah.
In soccer or another sport?
No, other sports.
I'm going to debate this. I've actually had a game involving Furman about 20 years ago.
And here's the thing, too. Let me preface this by saying, I may not be right. My memory of this guy coaching at Furman may be completely made up.
Okay. Well, with that, I will tax no further mental effort. Who would that be, sir?
Did Vince Lombardi coach there?
Fordham, which is in the Bronx.
There was an F in there. There was an F in both of them.
Which is the alma mater of Mike Watts, already mentioned on this broadcast
Do you
today.
see how this all ties together? It's incredible.
A tangled web we weave. Throw in coming for the Indy 11. Edgardo Rito, by the way, is going to be the fifth and final sub once he makes his way to the fourth official. And he's been a tremendous player in this league wherever he has been. Rito, we saw him with two different teams last year against the Indy 11 because he was a midseason move from Oakland to Hartford. And now with Phoenix rising, he was first team All-League 2 years ago playing for the Oakland Roots.
Oh, it was a fantastic pickup by Hartford. I was shocked that Oakland let him go. Just a terrific player. Unbelievable pace in him.
Collier gives chase. Rios Novo has to quickly do an about face. Phoenix has been a bit nervy when they've handled this ball at the back.
Well, they got a lot of confidence back there in playing out of the back, but again, Collier is a sneaky press.
Well, he covers a lot of ground with those 6'6" strides. Armanakis.
Ball.
Cabral. He's kind of sinking further back and further back. Ofemu just did a good job of getting away. He content to kind of let Phoenix just knock it around at the, wouldn't say the back, but at the fringe of a compact Indy 11 defense right now.
And doing a great job. Every time that ball moves, there's a player sliding up there to take away any kind of passing angle.
Gallardo trying to work around Stanley. The cross back post. Mines will direct this to the Brickyard Battalion. It's a corner coming for our friends at Wilson, Kehoe, Winningham. Let's also thank our friends at 450 North Brewing. Innovation and creativity through libations. What will be your 450 North beverage of choice after tonight's match, Brad?
They have these ready-to-drink cocktails that are pretty good. And then there's the Indy 11 slushy. Maybe I'll do both.
Rito to the fourth official. Coming next stoppage. Ball directed in and steered back. Indy 11 is not the possession type of team they were a year ago, but this is also about the most that they've kind of I would say, surrendered possession in a match this year.
Well, there's two parts to that. They surrendered, I think, unwillingly in the first half. They just sort of fell asleep to Phoenix's slow, methodical possession game. But right now, it is, hey, you can possess it all you want out in the middle third. We're going to sit back in here and make life extremely difficult for you if you want to enter the attacking third.
Rito wants to enter the game, waiting for referee to recognize him. He's also frankly telling whoever he is subbing for to simply go off the other side so he can sprint on. Flag goes up. Gives us a chance to tell you about our friends at Sirius XM. If you can't watch the match, turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access, Tuesdays at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Plus, you can hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app. Pop Marboy exits Edgardo Rito. So that now you're taking off a defensive-minded player for very much an attacking-minded player.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that you're going to switch defenders and it's going to become an outstanding attacking move.
So all the cards have been dealt for Danny Stone at this point. Collier gives chase. Can he bring it down? Didn't have much of an angle. Now Mines. And that's a foul against Ben Mines. This match presented in part by our friends at the Morales Group. Staffing agencies find jobs. The Morales Group, we build futures. He has one sub available if they feel it necessary.
Great touch.
Tyler Gibson redirects.
Yeah, and this is one of the things, too. As Phoenix presses bodies forward to try to get the equalizer, there's going to be transitional space when Indy repossesses the ball.
Collier, good run, but not the finish he was hoping for. High line being played by Indy. Cabral is ahead of it, which is where you want him from the Indy 11 perspective. Indy's final subs being called to the bench. Ofemu doesn't let it get through. Cabral with 6 goals, clearly the target, but he's also got to be careful. Indy is really walking up, trying to pinch the space he has available.
Yeah, and part of it, too, is, you know, they've got 2 center backs right around him here at the top of the 18, but you'd love him never to get that touch. So can you pop guys into that channel that deny the entry ball into him?
They hit. Takes a couple of turns. That's going to be a corner.
That was well struck.
Brought to us by Wilson, Kehoe, Winningham, and Ethan O'Brien. You see Josh on your screen. His brother Ethan is going to be the 5th substitution. We have not talked much about Ethan this year, who played for Notre Dame and played in the College Cup down at Lynn Family Stadium in December. So a late addition to the roster. He has to make an impact here. This one goes all the way across. Dees Pay touched it last. And again, the corner coming, brought to us by Wilson, Kehoe, Winningham. Ethan O'Brien was signed on March 6th. That was 3 days before the season opening match. Ethan played against Memphis back on March 16th. Minutes have been few and far between for him so far.
Great clear.
Cabral. Waves of pony directing traffic at the bottom of your screen. Zambrano taken away by Gibson. And Blake, probably not the spot for that ball there. Here comes White charging forward. Torres has a hit. It's a cross. Varela will settle. Cabral looking back post. Mines trying to shepherded out, and it will be a goal kick and a moment to breathe for the Indy 11, and a chance for us to thank our friends, the Keystone Group, specializing in transformational developments, construction, management, and investments. And so, you know, I said when minutes have been hard to come by for Ethan O'Brien, I wasn't lying. His minutes played so far this year, 1. Came in the 89th minute in the victory in Memphis. Jack Blake has given all he can.
Getting a motivational speech from the center. You can do this. You can finish this run.
That is a rake straw level jog that Jack is employing on his way to the sidelines. And I may be overestimating my own speed at that pace.
I'm not touching it.
So the O'Brien brothers get to play together. They are the 10th set of siblings in USL Championship history to play for the same team. Player down, and we'll stop the action right here with clear possession for Phoenix. So all subs have been used at this juncture. Ethan is actually the older brother. Josh is the younger brother. Josh has played professionally for the last 2 years. They are 2 of 5 of the O'Brien kids that all play soccer. I joked with Josh, and we had him on Soccer Saturday a few weeks ago. I said, you guys ever thought about, you know, charging pay-per-view for your backyard games in the O'Brien household?
And what was the answer?
He started listing the website immediately.
Might get a subscription.
This is a great idea.
I'll go somewhere else. I'll go somewhere else.
Good looking ball here.
Yep.
Headed down, but Salt is there to smother it for the Indy 11. Now Salt will take some time. Wise beyond his years in terms of shaving some precious seconds off the clock. He will launch this one somewhere towards downtown. Rios Novo quickly out to track it down. And Indy on the road next week at Pittsburgh. I'll have that one for you on My Indy TV. He's Pay.
Ball.
Got the ball first.
That's an incredible tackle.
He's had 2 of them tonight. And then Collier being held up. Yep. But they're going to point the other direction. Wow. Saying Collier initiated contact and not Wyke.
Yeah, you know, in fairness, Collier's jersey did grab Wyke's hand.
Ofemu at the edge of the 18. Wooden.
The tackle.
And now Martinez. Fuenmayor. Back to Wooden. Back-to-back Big Ten midfielder of the year the last 2 falls at Ohio State University. As Lawrence Wooden getting his 4th match in an Indy 11 uniform in terms of league play. He is on loan from the Chicago Fire, where he was the 3rd pick in the MLS Super Draft earlier this year. We've referenced multiple times that Indy is playing Pittsburgh next week. Phoenix is back on the road, but they are much closer to home. They'll be playing at the Las Vegas Lights next Saturday night. For the Indy 11, they are on the road each of the next 2 weeks. They are next at home when they take on San Antonio on June 15th. Of course, that was an Open Cup opponent for Indy. And yes, numbers forward here.
Great run by O'Brien.
Martinez, Collier, O'Brien, Martinez off the bar.
That was the backbreaker.
We have an injury here for Phoenix that will give us some time. Fans, just a reminder, eFootball 2024 is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now.
You obviously the tactical move here. You got Mines and Stanley have dropped back for the back line of 5. So, you know, what's made them so special here and change things for Indy is them playing higher up the field. But right now, you're saying, look, we just got to ride this out. Let's not give any space.
Rito. It's got great speed. What the touch? Collier. Gibson's clearance, not the greatest. Gibson in his second stint with the Indy 11 as well. After 3 years at Lou City. Stanley digs in.
Great tackle.
Stanley has not added to his assist total yet in this game. Ethan O'Brien. I believe he is the second former Notre Dame soccer player to play for the Indy 11 in their 11-year history.
Are you doing trivia thing again?
You want to? This is one of the great names. He didn't play much for the Indy 11, but it's one of the great names in club history.
No.
You ready?
Nope.
Felicien Dumas, who played for the Indy 11 in the 2020 season.
Oh, chance.
Collier couldn't get to it. Martinez does. Martinez starting to walk this one towards the corner flag this time around. Now knocks it forward for Ben Mines. And Mines, again, he too will start a campfire, but could not contain it very long. Throw in coming for Phoenix. Only reference Ethan O'Brien's days of playing for the Fighting Irish. He played at the soccer stadium. The football stadium is pretty legendary. And at the end of July, it'll host Chelsea and Celtic. That's Saturday, July 27th. Tickets on sale now at fcseries.com. First Chelsea played here at Lucas Oil back in August of 2013. For a lot of folks, that was the introduction of the Indy 11 to fans across central Indiana. Ball sent in.
Great
Dangerous
serve.
moment here. And Salt. I'm not sure that was going to be on frame. He didn't have the choice. Used every bit of that 6-7 frame to keep it out.
That was the one for Phoenix. They get a great serve that comes through the 6. They got bodies in there, but nobody was in position to tuck it away.
Stanley knocks it forward to Collier. And again, Collier will simply step on it here. Collier draws 3 defenders. And who touched it last? Indy did. And Edgardo Rito. Now Ethan O'Brien. Well, you don't get to play much. Might as well earn a yellow when you have the opportunity.
Yellows per minute. Leading the team probably.
Might be leading the league at this juncture. The O'Briens call the state of Washington home. And that's where Josh was going to head before he had an opportunity to train in the Watford Youth Academy. Let's see what the fourth official says in terms of additional time. 3 minutes. Phoenix unhappy about a paltry amount of time at the conclusion of this match. Mines tripped up. That's a foul.
Great job from Ben Mines, not only stepping in and repossessing the ball, but then enforcing that foul. Take a few more seconds off the match and be able to drive this ball down the field.
Well, again, this is, if it holds, one of the better wins this year for the Indy 11. Again, they have been dominant, but frankly not doing it against teams that, again, have the pedigree of this team. Is this Phoenix team last year's championship team? I'm not sure. But they're still Phoenix. They're good every year. They missed the playoffs in 2022. I harken back to the days when everybody didn't play everybody in the league. And so the teams in the West were almost like in a different league.
Right.
And we would just see these amazing goal totals they were racking up every match. Phoenix won 20 consecutive matches in 2019. Not unbeaten, won 20 consecutive matches. They're good most every year. And even if they're a bit gassed from their travel schedule and matches played this week, this is still a big win on the schedule for the Indy 11. Collier could not get there in time. Again, it's not in the past tense yet. 90-ish seconds left to go before this one's officially in the win column, and Collier comes up gimpy. He'll have to soldier on as best he can for the next 2 minutes or so. Rito's dangerous in this spot. Finds a sliver of space. D's pay buys about 20 yards of real estate.
Great respect for Rito in that. Indy sends 3 players out there to deny him the opportunity.
The hit does not get through. D's pay squares it away. It'll be a firing range for the final minute. Indy will have to survive to maintain all 3 points on the cross. Salt didn't get to it. Now has to retreat, and now Collier will send Martinez flying. Fuenmayer does just enough. Well, credit Phoenix in a really rough scheduling spot. They have given a fantastic effort. Can they find a little bit something else? I'm not sure if there's anything left, as Martinez can walk this towards the locker room. O'Brien, he of the fresh legs, is sprinting forward. I don't think he's going to see the ball here. Throw in coming for the Indy 11.
Veteran move. Veteran move. Slowly walk it down the touchline.
An unbeaten month of May. A win in every match in the month of May. Oh, and the longest Open Cup run in franchise history. That is the month that is about to conclude for the Indy 11. Throw in coming. Sands of the hourglass. We're about to be all in the bottom half. Glance towards the referee in terms of a final whistle. Not coming just yet. One final push forward. 30 seconds past the allotted 3 minutes. Wooden gets to it. Glance at the wristwatch. No whistle just yet. What the freshest legs for Indy. Still chasing. Ball directed in. Salt catches it, and that should do it. There it is. Every point possible in the month of May belongs to the Indy 11. 5 in a row in league action. It is 8 consecutive wins in all competitions for the Indy 11. Lots to celebrate post-game for the boys in blue. We'll talk to head coach Sean McCauley, Jack Blake, and Josh O'Brien. Final score from Indianapolis this evening. Indy 11-2, Phoenix Rising 1. Post-game coverage comes your way next.
Every place has a purpose, and the people who inhabit those places have their own reasons for being there. The last thing on their minds should be concerns about the safety of the places they're in. When it comes to security and safety for all the places that matter, Dormakaba offers a seamless flow of integrated solutions that allow people to move securely about their daily lives. Because the places that matter to you matter to us.
For over a century, Indiana has been the destination for sports innovation and the state where champions are crowned. Now, we're entering a new era with Sports Tech HQ, a place that inspires innovation and invests in entrepreneurs who are changing the game, one startup at a time. Welcome to the crossroads of sports and technology. Sports Tech HQ, home of the game changers.
Find it, try it, paint it, love it. Find it, try it, paint it, love it. Find it, try it, paint it, love it. Find Find it, try it, paint it, love it. Find it, try it, paint it, love it, love it, love it, love it.
Adrian Despay and Mr. Zambrano from Phoenix Rising sharing some warm words after the match. Again, these are two teams that don't see each other very often. Tonight is the second meeting in these two clubs' history. They both began playing in 2014. Last year was a 1-1 draw in the Valley of the Sun. Tonight on Racing Weekend in Indianapolis, Sean McCauley's teams just completed an unbeaten month of May.
Absolutely incredible. And you talk about this month of May and the winning it. So many games and so many different challenges between Open Cup and regular season. Just an unbelievably impressive moment for this club.
Let's talk about our lockdown play of the game. For Indy to get all 3 points, it's brought to us by Schlegel. And not a lot was asked of Hunter Salt tonight, but he stepped up huge in the moment that mattered in the closing minutes.
Yeah, and you look at the not just the balls through the box, but then the way that he controlled things from the back line and making sure everybody's organized, making sure everything's tight and compact, especially in these last moments when you're playing with 5 backs, which is something different than you've been behind all match.
How have you seen him progress in the 5 weeks he's got playing time for this team?
Well, you look at the goals against average, and he came in, settled that down, but there's just a different level of confidence. You see the fire, you see the energy when he makes a big save. He knows it. You see the way that the team responds to him. They know it. He's moving in the right direction.
Sean McCauley having his post-game chat with the team on the field, which is kind of rare for him because, frankly, they only get a little time off the next day or two, knowing they can breathe a little bit until next Saturday. Let's get to our Securing the Win moment, which is brought to us by Allegiant. And Jack Blake's been getting that done all season long.
Yeah, we've talked about it just at a different level. And, you wonder what he saw in this, if he did see a gap or if he just hit one of those ones where you're going to hit it and hope. He hit it, and his hope came true.
Let's face it, there's another Englishman that has the phraseology coined to bend it like, but that thing goes around Cabral and the end of the wall. And within 21 yards, he's able to pull that back inside that post. You described it as a keeper's nightmare. I'm not sure who's stopping that, given the technical ability Blake displayed on that shot.
So you're going bend it back like Blake?
I was saying no, but at least it's in the conversation.
No, he's just at another level right now. It is unbelievably fun to watch him play at this time.
Well, you see Jack Blake running with a bit more speed than he did to sub off late in the contest because he wants to get to our broadcast location. He and Josh O'Brien will be joining us in that order. So as Jack gets the headsets on, we get to talk about his second brace of the season for the Indy 11. And again, goals 6 and 7 in league play, and he joins us now. Congrats, my friend. How you feeling about this one?
It feels real special, Not just the goals, the individual performance. I don't even think about it. It's the team, the togetherness we've had, and we've been rewarded from a real tough, hard week, and to get 3 wins out of 3 this week, it's an absolute shift from everyone in the squad.
Well, we just showed the replay, and now we'll get your perspective on that ball where you send it around the wall, yet bring it back inside the post before Rios Novo could get there. What did you see, and what was going through your mind as you struck it?
I thought we had a bit of injustice, and right before, I think the keeper should have been sent off. I think it was a goal had he not touched it, and we were talking to the ref about that, so there was a bit of anger in there, a bit of justice it felt like at the end, so no, it was just pure happiness when it went in. It's real good to do it for the fans as well, who have been here, all week for us, and, we really feel that energy, and it spurs us on.
Well, you talk about a special week with the 3 wins, but it's really been a special month. You guys have been on an absolute tear. What is it? What's changed? What's that locker room like right now?
Nothing's changed, really. It's always going to be difficult with a new manager in the off-season coming in and changing a philosophy and, pushing a style of play. And it's taken time to adapt, but we've hit the ground running hard, and we've put belief in ourselves, in the team, in the management, in the staff. And I think now we're getting rewarded, and we can see the on-field performance, and we have a proper identity.
Hey, we've had the luxury of watching you play in a lot of different stops, wearing a lot of different uniforms. You've been a great player your entire career. I get asked this question a lot. I can't figure out the answer, so I'm just going to ask it to you. What is different about this year? Every ball that you touch, every run that you make seems to be the right one that's dialed up.
It's hard to say, really. You know, it's football has a lot to do with confidence. I felt the belief from the manager from the day one of preseason, and I think we have a real good bunch of lads. You know, I feel that love from the team. I hope they feel it from me. I think we have a real good bunch, and I think it's just confidence and enjoying football, which is what it's all about.
You've got well over 200 minutes in those legs in the last 8 days. Go get off of them. Congratulations on the win. Enjoy a day or two off, and we'll see you next Saturday night in Pittsburgh.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Jack Blake, goals 6 and 7 of the season, one from the spot and one that defied the laws of physics to give Indy 11 a 2-1 victory tonight. We'll take this quick timeout. When we come back, Josh O'Brien will make his debut on the postgame show. He'll join us coming up in just a matter of moments. But wrapping up the network portion of the broadcast, if you will, Indy 11 again. They're into the quarterfinals of the U.S. Open Cup, and they've won 5 consecutive league matches. Final score from Indianapolis, Indy 11-2, Phoenix Rising 1. On CBS Sports Galazzo and My Indy TV.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.
The Indy 11 are announcing a new signing to their squad. We can now confirm it's Max from Williams Comfort Air and Mr. Plumber. Max clearly has some training to do to get into shape by game day. Soccer skills and service you can rely on from a team you can trust, both essential for a winning